are like her son or her girl, her daughter, as, as an Islamic law. Uh, so I told this because I heard it from my parents. I told this to the passage patrol that so she's my mother and she's like my mother and her girls are my sister-in-law, and so why are you arresting us? And they said that no, she is a Baha'i, and the Islamic laws are not mm,
Don't apply.
yes, are not sorry,
Don't apply.
don't apply to the Baha'is. So it was the first time in my life that I've seen discrimination about Baha'is, and I've just that I didn't plan to say it, but after your remarks, I need, and I think I have to say it about the Baha'is, discrimination against Baha'is in Iran. So, but I would like to use this opportunity for speak about the two main obstacles of violation of human rights in Iran, because I think when we are talking about the human rights situation in Iran under Hassan Rouhani's presidency or anybody else, we have to know the answer of two very important questions. The first question is, can Rouhani administration improve human rights situation in Iran? And second one is, does Mr. Rouhani and his administration really want to do so? So I'm afraid to say that the answer of both questions are no. Mr. Rouhani and his administration cannot make human rights situation better because it's not something which president, its administration, or even parliament have the power of act on. Under the Islamic Republic Constitution and the structure of power in Iran, this is an Ayatollah who is called Wali Faqih, or in its political term, the supreme leader, who controls almost entire power. He is the commander-in-chief. This is he who appoints and also can dismiss the commanders of the armed and security forces. He appoints the head of judiciary system, which has been always, I believe that, the main suppression organization in Iran. And he appoints, of course, the head, or better to say the commanders of two main security and armed force in Iran. The first one, the Army of the Guardians of the Islamic Revolution, and the second one, the militia organization of Basij. So, please let me explain it by a personal example. I was arrested in my home in Tehran 6 years ago regarding the movement. You have seen some pictures about it already. So I was arrested by 5 security agents. They introduced themselves as the agents of intelligence section of the Army of the Islamic Guardians of the Islamic Revolutions. So they were very kind, and they showed me an injunction issued by a judge. So this is exactly what has happened to all the human rights advocates, political opponents, and journalists, Baha'is, Jewish people who were arrested or have been arrested in past 37 years in Iran. Nor president and his government, and neither the parliament cannot change this mechanism even if they are interested. But returning to the second question, are they really interested? I just make another example. Let's try to forget all the mysterious security background of Hassan Rouhani itself. He's justice minister. Please pay attention to the word justice minister. Is one of the main operatives of the massacre of the political prisoners in Iran 27 years ago. Later, he became the intelligence minister of Iran in the presidency of Mahmoud Ahmadinejad. So, you know, intelligence minister is another main suppression organization in Islamic Republic of Iran. So, and now he is the Minister of Justice in Iran. So, I think this example will clearly describe the will of Hassan Rouhani's administration for somehow improvement human rights in Iran. There are more reasons for abusing human rights in Iran. I think one of the most important as well is Islamic laws, for example. But please let me conclude by saying, actually talking about the possible improvement of human rights situation in Iran under ruling of Hassan Rouhani or anybody else in Iran is like talking about the benefits or the possibility of secularism in the Islamic state of the Syria and Iraq.
Thank you very much for your, especially personal colored testimony. Now, before I give the floor to anybody, I want shortly to raise the issue, and perhaps Mrs. Hassan will answer or also you. Recently there was a report on Human Rights Watch, but I've also seen other reports on the abuse of Afghan refugees in Iran to be recruited or to be even demanded to go to the battleground of Syria. And when you see the death toll already last year, I've seen a lot of photographs of people from Afghan descent that were killed in Syria. But the issue was raised by Human Rights Watch in the report that they had a choice also to fight for the Assad regime and to join the Quds force there, or to be sent back to their home country, to Afghanistan. Will you perhaps both comment on this also human rights abuse?
Sure. I can do that. It's a mechanism the Iranian dictatorship has used for 3 decades, outsourcing the battles it always picked with countries in the region and find other people to fight them. Fight it for them, and they use people of Afghan descent. They use militias in Iraq, and there is really no limit to the viciousness that they use to gain their influence and their revolutionary interest, not national interest. They only have a revolutionary interest. And when we ask ourselves why the Iranian regime is doing this, let's move away from the name Islamic Republic and let's take a look at what IRGC actually stands for, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. It's an elite militia that is only designed to expand the ideas and the interests of the Islamist revolution of 1979. Nothing else than that. It's not designed to defend the country of Iran, which is a country that had and continues to have the same borders within many thousand years. Only very few countries in the world can say that, actually, which has a heritage that goes back many thousand years, which is part of sort of the society of Iran. It's an ancient civilization that is there, and what the Iranian regime does is destroying all that heritage step by step and improving and advancing their own revolutionary interests. And it has begun with the creation of Hezbollah. It has begun with the support that they give to Hamas. It continues with the warfare that they're involved in Syria, but it won't stop there. This is just the beginning of it. It won't stop there. Already Iran has eyed the future battlegrounds of the Persian Gulf region, and once again I come back to the fact that this region is for us Europeans in our immediate neighborhood, and so it will affect us before it will affect the United States, and we better do something about it.
Thank you very much for your clear answer. Is there anybody? Please, the Ambassador of Bahrain, you have the floor.
Thank you very much. I'm really touched by what I heard from the speakers. Although the information is not new to me, coming from a neighboring country, I know exactly what's going on in Iran. But hearing it from people who are affected by it makes me feel very sad, really. And I want to say something that last week the European Parliament issued a resolution against Bahrain just because there was a death penalty against a man who actually put an explosion and killed a policeman and injured so many. And we know that in Iran there are executions of the numbers you mentioned every day. And also I want to tell you one thing, that we know that in Iran, in the Iranian parliament, there is a vacant seat for Bahrain because Iran claims that Bahrain is part of Iran. And the seat is there in the parliament waiting for one day when Iran will take Bahrain as part of it and have someone in the parliament. There are, coming to the main issue about the Baha'is, I don't know if you know that in Bahrain we have a Baha'i community. Maybe we are the only country in the Gulf that we have Baha'is, and we never refer to them as Baha'is or non-Baha'is. They are Bahraini citizens. They are part of our society. They are our friends. There are intermarriages. My colleague here, she is in the embassy. She has 2 marriages. She is Muslim. She has 2 marriages with Baha'is in her family. They have all rights according to the constitution as any Bahraini. They have positions in the government, in the private sector. They are business. They are our friends. And actually, the Baha'i movement in Bahrain goes back to the late 40s or early 50s when a gentleman by the name Dr. Faizi came to Bahrain, and he resided in Bahrain, and he managed, because he was educated, he managed to have so many friends among the elites of Bahrain but you know, they stayed on their, they did not they did not convert to Baha'i faith, but they were friends with Dr. Faizi. Everybody respected him, and he managed to have some followers among the Bahrainis who came from Iranian origin. Now we have a small community of Baha'is, and they are actually having all rights. They are living with us in peace. And I wish that the world and the Europeans understand you know, our society and how tolerant we are. We have Christians, we have churches, we have temples. The Baha'is practice their faith openly. We visit each other. I have so many friends, Baha'is. They come to my house in Ramadan, and we exchange visits. We live with each other in harmony. So I wish that the Europeans can understand our society and our tolerance, and concentrate on what's going on here in Iran, especially when it comes to women. Women in Bahrain have all their rights. We have equal opportunities. Everything is open in front of women. I want to put hijab. I can put hijab if I want. I don't want to put hijab. It's my choice. So maybe this is actually an opportunity for me to ask the European Parliament to consider this about Bahrain. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your informative intervention, Your Excellency. And we are here with several members. I've seen my dear colleague Kiran from the EPP from Estonia, and my dear colleague Gerke from Germany. And we will really consider it. Is there anybody from the panel who want to comment on the intervention of the ambassador?
Sorry.
No problem. Only water.
Sorry. So,